Hi, I'm Rob Buckingham and welcome to Bayside TV. Today on the show we have artist Michael Painter performing and we look at a topic that leaves people feeling disconnected.
Have you ever been surrounded by a massive throng of people yet felt completely alone? Surrounded by your closest friends but felt completely disconnected? In a world where we are so closely connected to one another, why do we so often find ourselves with that awful feeling that is loneliness?
Today on Bayside TV we're looking at the subject of how to deal with loneliness in a connected world. Father Bob Maguire, welcome back to Bayside TV.
Thank you.
Good to have you here. Ever felt lonely?
Yeah, of course. But I'm more alone than lonely.
Okay.
I think there's a difference, you see.
We'll get back to that in just a moment.
It's very, very deep and meaningful.
Motivational speaker Lisa McInnes-Smith, welcome to you too.
Thank you.
Fabulous. And Christy B.
Great to be here, as always.
Loneliness. Ever experienced loneliness, Christy?
Yes, I have, but, you know, these days I actually would long for a little bit of loneliness. I think it would be nice when you have got kids at home and lots of demands. The thought of just being isolated for a little while.
Yeah, what you actually want is solitude, though, not loneliness.
Yeah, probably, you're right.
Aloneness.
Yes.
Yeah, like what Father Bob was saying.
Rather than that feeling of, I'm on my own, but I don't want to be on my own. I want other people to be around, but I don't know why they're not here.
You ever felt lonely?
Yes. I particularly remember being lonely at school when I was persecuted about the way I looked and feeling like nobody understood. So sometimes you can be surrounded by people, they can be everywhere, and you can still feel lonely because it's something that happens on the inside of you.
That is so true. I have felt lonely in a crowd on many occasions, especially if you feel disconnected or... What about you, Father Bob?
Yeah, I like crowds, 100,000 at the MCG when Collingwood is flogging Geelong or somebody.
That's
yeah,
right,
but I like that crowd.
Collingwood supporter,
it's
aren't you?
almost sacramental, I believe, and especially, say, Anzac Day, when there's a full house and there's silence for a moment with the, what do you call, the last post.
Yes.
Yes.
But there's a feeling, you know, that almost this is, I don't know.
Togetherness?
Yeah, but I even get religious, believe it or not.
Yep.
And I think that I get a feeling of the crowd, including God.
Yes.
See?
Maybe
Because
The
of
belong.
older
the
I get, the
silence.
more I'm becoming, you know, let God in.
Yes.
Well, that's
Because
good.
God's out. Religion tends to put God outside and we get concentrated and fascinated with our own church structure. You see, and I'm not sure whether... See, I think God's lonely.
Why do you say that?
Well, you see, because the efforts that the evolving of humanity and the evolving of the cosmos, religion has tended to put God out of the picture.
Yes, and yet we're created for one another, aren't we?
Well, we are, you see, but also we're created to let God in.
Yes.
That's why we're so feeling alone just now. See, you mentioned before this business of we've never been so connected because of texting, emailing.
That's rubbish.
So, well, that's
Rubbish.
what I'm saying. We've never been
Right.
so...
It doesn't work.
But we've never been so connected technologically.
But it means nothing.
But we've
Yes, it's
never
not
been
relationship.
so... Well, exactly, but it means all a lot of people have got.
Yes, but
Yeah.
you can
See?
be covering loneliness. You can let the technology
Well, what are you going to do about
help
it?
you pretend that you're connected when in actual fact connection is what happens between two hearts, one heart and another heart. That sense of you can be in someone's presence and feel very lonely and very disconnected because they really don't care, or you can be with someone for a moment and feel like you totally belong.
It can be your best friend knocking at the door. You open the door and you say, "Oh, hello, George. Why didn't you text me?" You know what I mean? Because of the shock.
Because I came round to see you.
Well, you can cope with the text, but you can't cope with the physical presence.
Well, maybe we should text people
Very
to say,
sad.
I'm on my way.
Well, you could have it.
That is actually a very Australian thing, because what I love about the Irish is that we call in on each other. So you could be having a rotten day, and if somebody actually warned you that they were coming, you go, I'm just not up to it. But when they arrive,
Yes, that's
something in
smart.
you lifts.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, that empty day turns into, that's just what I needed. No, I didn't get anything done that I wanted to do, but I just needed that. And sometimes the more preparation you have, it's just that whole tribal thing. That maybe that's the
that's
Irish
the thing.
Catholic thing, I don't know.
Well, the
but
Celtic thing.
The
I
Celtic
think
thing.
pre-Christianity was all about that. I think that's what we've lost with Catholicism in the Irish Church. Unfortunately, was forced to give up the original, or the Aboriginal Celtic spirituality that was already there long before the Christians got there.
Let's define loneliness. What does loneliness look like to you? Let's start with Lisa.
Well, I think loneliness looks like not necessarily being on your own, but feeling that you are not connected in any significant way to anyone that's around you.
Okay. Christy?
Well, for me, it is very much when someone just does not see or perceive or get you. Like someone cannot see the situation that, like, say, for example, that we live in a country without our family here. And so you feel that you're alone, even though you've got lots of people, because people don't get the enormity of your circumstance, whatever that circumstance is, like the enormity of your circumstances. Like people don't get, sometimes people don't get you. And I think you can be alone in the not getting, or a cause, like when I'm talking about Africa or Thailand and people don't get it, I go, am I, like, who else? Is there anyone else that feels this way?
Yes, refugees.
Sure.
They're here. They feel like no one gets their situation.
And we can't really unless they tell us their situation.
Yeah.
We can't
Father
mind
Bob,
read.
what does loneliness look like to you?
Oh, well, I suppose jumping in front of a train,
That's the
which
outworking
seems to
of
be
your
the
loneliness, potentially.
latest expression, ultimate
Yeah.
expression, the final solution.
Is it
to
anger
to
or is it loneliness?
No, loneliness. I wouldn't think anger. I mean, anger at being alone. I think that's one of the pervading and confusing symptoms of street life or of suburban anonymity, is that you do get angry because as a herd person, H-E-R-D,
Yeah.
you resent, where's the rest of the flock? Where's the rest of the herd?
Yeah, I should be
Yes.
connecting.
Well, they should be connecting with me, you see, and here I am alone. Anger, I think, then maybe followed by the cold, calculated decision to vacate the premises.
And do you think that, we touched on technology a moment ago, but do you think technology is exacerbating that as a problem? Is it hindering or is it helping? And, I don't know whether Christy can really answer this because she's not even on Facebook.
I'm like, I don't know. You have how many friends, Liv?
Oh, 3,800
Yeah,
and
see,
something.
that is impossible. It is impossible.
And they're all close.
Yes.
And then you have no depth of actual relationship. Like, I reckon my father used to say to me, if you have 5 people in your life that will cry at your funeral, you're a rich person.
Well, you get confused. I mean, I'm on, what's
You're
the other
on Twitter.
one? Twitter.
I follow you.
Yeah, they're short, sharp, you know what I mean. But, I mean, I understand what you're saying because you'd prefer people to be pressing the flesh and all of that. But I'm simply saying that there's a vast universe out there. They even call it the Twitterverse, don't they?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Where the most relationships that people have will be in a virtual relationship. Now,
does it have to be that way?
No, well, it does not. Does it
But
not?
sometimes,
Can we have both?
technology
Oh,
Yeah,
you've
can
got to
we
have
have
both
both?
or die.
is really good when people are stuck inside or isolated through no fault of their own. We'll come back and talk about that a bit more. After the break, Campbell Vandersloot hits the streets and finds out what the people have to say.
These days, people are living a lot more by themselves. So, as a result, are we more lonely? Are people more lonely today than they were 10 years ago?
I don't think so, because it's so easy to socialise over the social networking that we have, like with Facebook and all that. So I think maybe not so lonely, probably easier to be not lonely.
I suppose there's so many kind of different outlets to kind of keep them occupied, like, I don't know, video games, or I don't play video games, but so many different other social aspects to, I don't know, today's scene, so maybe not so much anymore.
I think there was more of a sense of community 10 years ago. So maybe for the elderly and that kind of thing, yes. But I think generally people are still engaging in other new ways.
I don't know, it seems like we have less interaction with each other, but I don't think people are more lonely.
Okay. What do you think would cause that?
I don't know, I mean, there's just more of a habit of staying at home rather than being out and socialising, I guess.
I guess the old-fashioned way of going and visiting someone and seeing them face to face. We miss a bit, we've become more busy, and yeah, I guess we are lonelier than what we were 10 years ago. I'm not.
I would say that there's a lot of distraction in life at the moment. which sort of creates loneliness. So although people are busier and have probably fuller lives, they are probably more detached from each other than they'd ever been before.
Talking about loneliness today on Bayside TV, social networking was mentioned there. Yes. I think social networking can be wonderful as long as we don't see that as the beginning and end of our connection. I'm thinking of elderly people that are maybe shut in, people that are disabled and not able to get out and about. This gives them a way of connecting, but I think it's when we spend all of our time behind a computer and we're connecting with a screen rather than... You talked about it before, Father Bob, about, you know, that kind of... You're actually able to touch someone, hug someone. There's really no substitute for that.
No.
But there's even words and symbols, aren't there, on...
on their mobiles, expressions.
And
that's
all
right,
that
yeah,
other
a
stuff.
hug.
And little faces that blow little kisses and little heartbeat.
Look, the touch even, we're losing touch. Not women so much, I suppose, but a lot of young people and even a lot of us old people who have taken to the medium spend more time touching electronic devices.
Yes, instead of people.
Than they do touch a person.
Yes.
Tap, 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 tap.
How does loneliness affect people, do you think, Lisa?
Well, certainly in my working world, that in the corporate world, that I see the loneliness of people who throw themselves into the task so much that they forget that the task is for people. And they forget why they're doing the task and for whom they're doing it. And that's like people saying, oh, I go to work for my family, but they disconnect from their family because they've immersed themselves in the work. So they can be very lonely, but they can have convinced themselves they're actually doing it for the right reason when they've lost true perspective.
So how would you help someone like that?
Well, I would immediately get them to stop and have one-on-one conversation time, because it's not group conversations that we need, it's one-on-one. And you can very quickly remove loneliness. You don't need a lot of friends, like your dad said. You need a friend, someone knocking at your door, someone having a word to speak to you in the street and to say, hi, how are you having a nice day? And actually listening for the answer. Then that can make someone feel like, oh, the world's fine again, I belong.
Well, even when you take food on the street in vans, the thing you have to learn quickly is people are not there only for the food. They're there mainly to be recognised as a human being.
Yes.
It doesn't even apply to people that you would think are marginalised. I mean, we were just talking about that in our local area. The managers or the owners of the cafe have gone. They've lost the heartbeat of the place.
Yes.
You don't just go there for a coffee.
Are not the same.
You go there because they speak to you in Italian. They make you feel wonderful. Christy, you look amazing.
That's right.
I'm not there for the coffee.
No, you're there for the atmosphere.
They make a good coffee.
They make a very good coffee.
But
now,
they know your name.
And the new guy who has... you would like this. I went in and blessed his little cafe, and he was very happy that I'd blessed him. You know, didn't do it quite right. I'm sure to your standards. Didn't throw water. I thought we'd get you down to throw the water, but already you can see that there's a hub there for people to actually, belong.
But isn't this the sin of the churches when they don't become places where you are recognised as an individual, so
well,
you get too
big. It depends on the church. We can't get them out. They have a coffee machine in the foyer. They stay there for 2 hours afterwards.
Yeah,
so it
which is
depends on
wonderful.
the church.
That's
I think
right.
if a church thinks like a community, then the people do have that sense of belonging. I don't think it's bigness. It's about how to work.
No, but if you're too big so that you can't do it.
But you can. You
But
just
then
do it
your
in small
lot, you
groups.
see, has got probably the
connect groups.
You know how to do it, go about it. Us older churches, you see, we were going there not to connect, except to connect with God.
Yes.
And even the shape of the church was such that you went in and you looked up there.
Yes.
And it was all not
And then
looking
afterwards you
sideways.
leave.
We were even encouraged in the old days not even to look at each other, to be
right.
distracted.
Yes. But you've changed. I mean, really.
Well, we
it's changed.
changed for 20, 30 years, we did, and then bang, she went back again to the old shape.
Let's look at the increase in single dwellings, particularly in Australia, but maybe this is a worldwide trend. More people not marrying, staying single, living on their own. Do you think this is going to increase loneliness in the future?
I think so.
I would think so. I would think so.
Okay.
I mean, unless we produce a whole new species of humanity, which we may.
Yes.
I mean, we're not the originals. There were predecessors to us
did
as
life
a
differently
species.
to us.
You know, but I mean, are we going to evolve into something? That frightens me, because I mean, it won't happen in my lifetime, but I'm wondering, you know, this whole business, what do you call it, intelligence?
Yeah, intelligent
Emotional
design.
intelligence.
No. The other one where you end up with artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence.
You see? So that your machine, in fact, becomes merged with the human.
You've been reading too many George
that's
Orwell
right.
novels.
Well, they keep
Absolutely
reminding us
sci-fi.
now that some of us are already, you know, because
I'm
we've
programmed.
got...
I'm totally
but you've
programmed.
Got,
I do what-
you've
I
got
do what he tells
monitors,
me.
heart monitors, you've got bits and pieces that in fact are.
But there's nothing that's going to replace human contact with other
There's
human
not.
beings.
Yes.
And that's why they're saying that the lead businesses are going to be the ones where we eyeball, where we touch, because there's so many other people that are going to automation. And automation does not wipe your tear. Automation does not hold your hand when you're in hospital.
Well, they're
Correct.
developing those that do.
Well, they won't feel the same.
See?
No.
They won't feel the
Computer
same. They've
holding
tried
my
that
Instead of being
before.
I, Robert, I'll be I, Robot. You see what I mean? That's what worries me.
Let's finish up by looking at ways we can combat loneliness. Christy B, what do you reckon?
Well, I think Lisa and I, we just talk to anyone we see in the street,
Right.
don't we?
Isn't it?
Yes.
That's
And
why we're
I-
always waiting.
That's right.
We husbands. As well.
That's right, because we put people first.
Yeah.
We've actually made a conscious decision that people matter over the task, and therefore you have to, what you said
Yeah.
earlier, acknowledge.
Just talk
Just to
to
be
people.
acknowledged makes you feel
Okay.
But
So
it is-
acknowledging
but it is
people,
an
chatting
unusual
with people.
Thing. It is an unusual thing because people sometimes you walk along and they put their heads down when you
Yes.
went to say hello, but I just keep going until they actually speak to me.
But we've got to
Another
move
thing.
past the whole thing, and you kind of alluded to it before, where someone says, "How you going?" and you go, "Yeah, I'm well," or "I'm good."
Yes.
Yes.
And they're not interested in even knowing.
That's right.
You know, we've got to move beyond that shallow.
We totally do.
Dialogue.
And also, for people to get out of loneliness, they have to recognise it's within their power to connect, and that is to serve one another. I've got to tell you that you can get people quicker out of depression and loneliness when you give them a job to do within a community.
Yeah.
And so that's why I love about
Supportive
churches,
community.
because you don't even have to believe what the church believes. You can come in and do a job
That's
that
true.
serves your community and
We've
find
had
a
that
place
happen
of belonging.
time and time again.
I've seen it.
Absolutely. And then it turns out we've had people come to help us, say with our feeding program or whatever, and then they find that they actually have a need that it gets met. So they're not coming looking; they're coming to look to meet other people's needs.
Correct.
It's like helping other people. You think sometimes that it's actually you're doing something nice for them. You actually realise that they've got a lot more to give you back than you
Yes.
ever have to give.
Well, random acts of kindness. Some bloke on television recently said, "I'm going to start a campaign." You know, which
already
I said-
been started.
No, you know, random. But I mean, more on the street. This would be not in churches or in.
No, we do it on the
but on the
street,
street,
yes.
you see,
Yeah.
where
That's where it belongs, isn't
do
it?
something. I saw an ad on the telly the other night. I think a bloke drops his money as a test. And along
So
the
you'd pick
street,
it up.
people come and give it back, give it
Yes.
back. Oh, thank you
Yeah,
so much.
yeah.
It's very nice, very kind.
That's
now,
right.
some people would say, geez, they're mugs.
Yeah,
'Cause they could
but
have
it's
made an
reaching
extra
past
$10.
yourself, isn't it? And,
Yeah.
and making a real effort. After the break, we have guest artist Michael Painter performing, which I know you're going to enjoy. Welcome back to Bayside TV. I want to thank my guests, Father Bob Maguire.
Thank you, Rob.
Been great as always. Lisa McInnes-Smith
Thank you, Rob.
and also Christy B.
It's my pleasure.
And now performing their song Weary Stars, Michael Painter.
I can feel you pull away. Trying to work this out, but there's just no words to say. Ooh, it's so hard letting you go. Ooh, when it's only you I know. 'Cause I've given you all I can. We've been us so long now, I don't know who I am. Ooh, now it's all just slipping away. Ooh, and I'll never find the words to make it okay. It's like a sun under the sky as the stars collapsed, but I'll never let a heart break hold to another lesson learned. This is one more page that I just can't wait to turn. Ooh, tell me one last thing as you leave. Ooh, will you try it all again but find another me? It's like I stood under the sky as the stars collapse, but I'll never let a heartbreak hold me back. I'm singing oh. And everything we did, it was blazing down, but my fear fell away as it hit the ground. Now I'm singing oh, those weary stars awoke my heart. Those weary stars. This time we can't go back. We traveled way too far. The truth, the lies, the facts, they're buried in my scars. I can feel you pull away. It's like I stood under the sky as the stars collapsed, but I'll never let a heartbreak hold me back. I'm singing oh. And everything we did, it was blazing down, but my fear fell away as it hit the ground. Now I'm singing oh, those weary stars awoke my heart. Yeah, I'm singing oh. And everything we did, it was blazing down, and my fear fell away as it hit the ground. Now I'm singing oh, those weary stars awoke my heart. Those weary stars, those weary stars.